Hello, this is the polyFM algorithm on the Disting EX. This is an 8-voice polyphonic FM synthesizer that can load DX7 voice banks based on the FM engine from the Platts 1.2 firmware by MIDI, but reconfigured into this slightly more convenient form factor for playing, for concentrating on playing the FM sounds. So here we go, ePiano 1. Playing it over MIDI, you can play it over CV gate. We'll show you all of this in a moment. Most of the operations should be fairly familiar to anybody who's used any of the other polyphonic algorithms on the EX. Just switch away and back in a minute. First time you approach this algorithm, you might be confronted with this screen. No FMSYX folder found using built-in banks. That's basically saying it's looked on the card for some FM voice banks and not found any, so it's going to use the built-in ones from the Platts firmware. Which are these? Each bank has 32 voices, and they're all classic FM sounds. Let me just skip ahead and change the output a moment. There we go. So, lovely stuff. So, like I say, MIDI or CV gate, it's multi-timbral over both. At the moment, I've got it hooked up to the Rene, so I'm going to start a clock on the FH2 here and get the Rene going, which is going to give us a CV and a gate, and get this sound going. For each of the 4 timbres you've got the selection of the bank and the voice. The outputs, you can direct the voice to any one of the individual outputs, 1, 2, 3, obviously not sounding because there's nothing plugged in, 4, or any 2 as a stereo pair. So I've chosen 1, 2 there, which is going off to my mixer. You've got gain, so you can turn it up and down. Obviously you can automate that if you wish. You've got pan if you've got a stereo output, left and right. And then you've got these 2 brightness and env scale. Now those correspond to the timbre and morph parameters in the Platts. So brightness is a kind of overall scale on any operator in the FM patch that's a modulator rather than a carrier. So you basically, it tends to make things a bit brighter to the extent of destroying them at extreme values, or a bit duller down there. And then env scale just makes all the envelopes longer or shorter. So like I say, you've got the same 4 times, basically. So let's get some more polyphony going. So if I'm going to use the CV and gates, I need to skip back to the input mode one. And I'll select 3 CV gate pairs. If I look at the inputs, there I've got CV, 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 gate, gate, gate. And then let's put something on timbre 2. So where's my gate? There it is. So this is coming from the Y channel of Rene here. Let's choose a different voice. And then we'll put that in the stereo as well. Pan it around a little bit if we wish. And then we can put another gate in there. And then for voice 3, do something else. I must apologise for this screen, it's dying. Look at this one, which is brighter. And then we'll put that in the stereo as well. Maybe pan that one over to the left a little bit. There we go. So FM gorgeousness, basically. Through CV and gate. Now I said it was multi-timbral over MIDI as well. So at the moment this keyboard is on MIDI channel 1, so that's going to address the first voice, which I had as the bass, I think. Yeah. If I change the MIDI channel on the keyboard, which is probably off the top of the screen there, I'm playing voice 2, which is this patch name CS80, which is rather lovely. then MIDI channel 3 is going to give us whatever that was, Gas House apparently. And then I can go one further because I've got 4 MIDI channels. And MIDI channel 4, let's use a different bank maybe. Let's see what we've got here. Let's try some different ones. Oh, some drums. Gong. Tubular bells. There we go. That's a classic FM sound, isn't it? Put that in outputs 1 and 2 again. Lovely. So yeah, that's it. It plays FM. The other parameters, like I say, are familiar to any of the other poly algorithms to do with setting up chords and arpeggios. KBM, Scala, MTS, microtuning if you want to apply microtuning to your DX7 sounds. Output spread, all this kind of configuration stuff, which I won't go into because it's common to all the other things you've already seen. But what I will talk briefly about is getting things onto the card, because that's where it gets interesting. So like I say, if you haven't got anything on the card, it'll give you that warning that there was nothing on the card. What you can do at that point is go off to your computer and put stuff on the card, or just to get things moving, you can dive into the menu, Poly FM, and then you can do, where is it? Write built into SD. So what that's going to do is make a folder on the card and put the default banks on it as files, just as a starting point, so you kind of can see the setup. So I'm going to do that. It's done that. So just to make the point, if I didn't mean to do that really, but I've done it now. Right, if I go back to Poly FM, I didn't get the warning about there being nothing on the card, and now my banks are actually .syx, sysx files. So it's the same 3 banks, but now they're on the card as files. So now if I take this card over to the computer, I can copy some other banks onto it, which I'll do now. So I'll pop the card out and over to the computer. So here I've got a web page which says it has the original DX7 voices on it as sysx files. So we'll download one of these, and then we'll copy it onto our SD card, and it will go in amongst the ones that the disting itself created. Then we'll eject that from the computer and pop it back in the computer, in the disting. So now if I restart my algorithm, it's going to find all those other banks that I just wrote on. Bank, 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 bank. So here are the ROM ones that we saw on that website. So we've got classic sounds like brass and strings, piano, bass, tubular bells. There we go. And then there's all kinds of esoteric things. There's another one I found. PPG Vocal's got some nice sounds in it. Where's the one I like? Anyway, lots of FM fun. So yeah, you can copy banks onto it. I'm not going to show it now, but you can also connect this up through MIDI to an FM patch editor on a computer and interactively edit the sounds on the disting and hear them play. But I'll save that for another video. But for now, that's it. The Poly FM algorithm on the Disting EX.